I often get the question, what advice would I give to another narcissist? Or what would I actually say to another person if I knew they were narcissistic and were either trying to get help or just to wake them up? If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, change, and development. I'm the founder of Raw Motivations, the creator of the Narc app, and your guide in the Escape Toxicity, the 7-day challenge to healing that you can access at escapetoxicity.com. Well, you might have a narcissist or a toxic person in your life that you're looking for them to change. Maybe they say that they want the change. Maybe you're waiting around hoping for a change and you're wondering, is this going to be true? Is this actually going to happen? And you keep wondering and hoping and praying that maybe this will happen, but you don't see it. So I want to talk to the narcissist for a minute about this aspect of false reality, and change, how that actually looks, is it possible, the lies, and what to do if they actually want change. Majority of narcissists, you see, don't want change. They don't consider it of the possibility that there might be another reality out there. And so when we talk about this piece of reality, you have to understand that the person watching this, or the person that's the narcissist, is understanding that they're in a false reality. Now, I'm not talking about a different reality completely from the world that we're in, but a reality that you have constructed. A reality that you have designed to make appear a certain way for your own either pleasure, enjoyment, or avoidance of shame and guilt. And until you start to acknowledge the possibility, not even that it is there already, because it is, but the possibility that your perception of life might be changing what is actually there in putting yourself into a false reality, you will always stay stuck. Because you're unwilling to acknowledge what actually might be there, what actually might be true. You see, the reality that you are in is one that you have built. It is one that you've constructed over a period of time, and it is made of the stories that you tell yourself. Now, these stories have been put together by your upbringing, by trauma, by abuse, by your childhood, by your education, by your religion, by previous partners. All of these stories kind of come together to be able to either hide or to sedate the shame and guilt that you feel inside. Oftentimes you want to be able to say, well, this is just my perspective, or like this is just my perception of things, when in reality it's just the best way to say I'm just lying about the fact that this didn't actually happen. So many times we see narcissists that are shrouded in lies upon lies upon lies, but they don't feel like lies, right? They don't feel like you're actually telling a lie to yourself. Instead, what it is it's a story that you have told yourself for years, one that you probably believe is true. Maybe it's the aspect of feeling like you're the victim. That's how I was. I was always the victim in every relationship I was in because everybody would always leave me. And I would have to turn it around in my head being like, I'm so faithful, I'm so honest, I'm so truthful, I'm so committed to these people. I was loyal to these people, but they always left me. And I always want to blame it on them. I always want to say it's their fault because I was the one that was still here. Not realizing, not seeing that I was the reason why they were leaving every single time because of my actions, my attitude, my lack of care, lack of respect, and abusive behavior. But I didn't want to acknowledge that that was even a possibility. I didn't want to acknowledge that there was a different reality than what I was already putting out there because I only wanted to focus on me and what I wanted in that moment, not anyone else. So as a result, I built this victim reality thinking that it wasn't my fault. And so many times narcissists and toxic people have this idea that it's not your fault, that you're a good person. I would tell myself that. I would tell other people that. I would tell anybody that because I wanted them to believe and understand that I was a good person. But in reality, the facts didn't match up to my good person story that I was telling myself because the facts weren't there to show it. Instead, I would say I was a good person, but I was lying to another person. I'd say I'm a good person, but I was cheating on my wife. I would say I was a good person, but I'd manipulate someone to get what I want. Like all these things kept going through my head, making me feel and act a certain way, but I was still playing the victim, still wanted to say it's not my fault, still wanted to say I was a good person. And you have to understand, if you're at the place where you think you're a good person and you think you're amazing and you think all these things align, you have to at least open up the concept, the possibility that that might not be 100% true. if you can't open this up, if you can't have this idea that there could be a different perspective, there could be a different reality than the one you've constructed, you always stay stuck. And you'll continue to do the same cycle over and over and over. So you have to understand you can either keep it up, what you've been doing, or you can change. There's really those two options. There's not really a middle ground. Because otherwise you end up playing a game with other people. And you end up playing a game going back and forth, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And you have to understand that until you decide to make a change in you, nothing will change. You can't make that decision for anyone else. You can't decide, I'm going to make this decision to save my marriage. I'm going to make this decision to, be with this person. I'm going to make this decision so I don't look bad. You can make all those decisions, but they are not going to last at all. And we've seen it time and time again when a person's like, but I want to work so hard because I love this person so much and I want to make this work. A lot of times it never does. Because you're so committed to the idea of the image or the possibility of making the relationship work than you are making yourself work. Then you are committed to actually putting in the work on a day-to-day basis on you. And that growth and change that comes from inside of you being vulnerable with you and honest with where you are. But a lot of times it's hard for a narcissist to do. And so as a result, you end up being in a dead-end circle, a cycle that keeps happening over and over and over and over again. And as a result, you'll never tap into true happiness. You'll always be looking for something. There'll always be this feeling of a void that you don't know how to fill, and you will never know how to fill until you acknowledge the reality that you've built. Because otherwise you're living in a fantasy that you have constructed to make yourself feel better, to hide from guilt and shame. And you've got to the place where you're like, maybe this will make it fixed. And maybe this will help me be better. Maybe this will give me that happiness. And you keep trying, and it doesn't work out. You keep looking for something, and it has to be bigger next time. It has to be more of it next time. It has to be connected in a different way next time. You're not going to find happiness that way. A lot of times people are looking for that void to fill, but they're not able to understand how to be able to fill it. And as a result, you'll start to repeat the same thing over and over and over, asking, maybe something's wrong with everyone else, but it can't be me. And you have hiding behind the lie that you're telling yourself. You have lies. I'm not just talking about the lies that you have to other people. I'm not talking about the lies that you have to your coworkers, to your friends, to your family, to your spouse, to your kids. I'm not talking about those lies. Frankly, there's a part of those lies I don't care about. Because those lies aren't going to change you if you acknowledge them. They're not. They might give a little behavior modification. They might make you look good for a period of time as you start to get on the right path. But the biggest lie that's going to hurt you on a day-to-day basis is the lie you tell yourself. That you're a good person. That you care about other people as you destroy them. That you're loyal as the people always leave you because of your abusive behavior. You see, there's all these lies that you're going to have in your life filled with those lies. You have a fake forefront, a fake mask. And again, not the lies that you tell others, but the lies you tell you. Twisting, hiding, and changing the perspective so that you can be right. And until you acknowledge it, until you confront the lies that you have on a day-to-day basis, you will never fill that void. You see, the lies are going to hide the truth. And the truth is the only thing that will set you free. So do you want to actually change? Do you want to actually make a difference of where you are versus the dead-end cycle you've been going through? Then I need you to hear two things right here, right now. Number one, nobody's coming to save you. I'm not. They're not. No one else can. The only person that can save you is you. The only person that can make a change in your life is you. Regardless of how many times you're going to play the victim and have other people try to reach out and help you and fix you, it's never going to do the job. Because it has to come down to you. And second thing, if you actually want to make a change in your life, if you actually want to change, then you need to stop fucking lying. Because until you eradicate the lies that you have in your life, you are always going to hide and sedate and run from the person that you are. And as a result, you will never have an opportunity to engage with that person and to engage in a relationship that is actually deep, but instead you'll run from shallow relationship to shallow relationship that you created. Until you acknowledge these two things, there's nothing that another person can do to help you. They can't force you to get changed. They can't force you down the path. They can't make you do this. It's all up to you. But the challenge is getting to the place where you confront the lies and you approach vulnerability and honesty and you move forward into your growth. And you're the change that you can see, only if you choose to rise up. You see, I was a coward. I was a boy of a man that did not care about anyone at all except myself. And as a result, it led me down a road where the only thing left that I had was myself. And some of you think, oh, this is the best thing ever because I'm able to do what I want, go where I want, be who I want. Then why are you still looking for happiness? Because you can't find it like that. You have a shot to be able to change. You have a chance if you're willing to be fully honest, fully transparent, fully vulnerable, and commit to consistent change. You have a shot at this. If you decide to go half-ass on some of that, or if you decide to not tell the full truth, then you don't have a shot at all. Change is possible to people who are ruthlessly committed to honesty, to vulnerability, to consistent change on a day-to-day basis. If you actually think that's you today, first off, reach out for help. You can go to rawmotivations.com, you can click on the one-on-ones. Would love to talk to you, would love to help you. One of the things I recommend to every single narcissist out there is to join Wake Up Warrior. There's a link on my website. You can go to Raw Motivations and click on the Warrior tab. Because it's a system and a process to be able to work on eradicating the lies that you believe. You either go into it and you just do the work and actually get the change, or you go into it and just pretend to do the work, walk out saying that didn't help. Because it only works on how willing you are to be honest, how willing you are to be truthful with yourself. And until you're willing to have extreme honesty, fully vulnerable, and the daily commitment to change, nothing's going to change. Just know here and today, no one's going to save you. And if you actually want to make a change, stop fucking lying.